Hey there, welcome to the archives. I'm gonna do this again. I filmed this earlier, but then it was too dark, and then I was doing weird conflict, passive aggressive stuff, and I didn't like it. And I had my fro on, and now I'm gonna do it with my own hair. Okay, so hi, welcome to the archives. Woo! The elections are over. I'm already on the bandwagon. Wearing my red. I don't have a whole lot to say right now about the elections, other than I think as Canadians, thank you Canada. Oh my God, imagine waking up today to a conservative government, girl. So I'm glad that we didn't vote him in. Um, I'm sad we didn't go as far as I would have liked for us to go in terms of the progressive scale, but I'll take it. I'll take it, right? Because as we're seeing in the United States, it makes a difference, right? It makes a difference. I'm trying to pull up a quote on liberals here. I was trying to, how do I get back to where I was going? Sorry, I got distracted. I was trying to see if I could pull up a quote from James Baldwin or Malcolm X on their views on liberals. You can find it on the internet if you don't know it already, but I think that would be my only concern is for a lot of us, we're still not out of the clear, right? He came in, and the first thing he did was just get rid of the Minister of Gender and Women, which is concerning to me, right? But I think that was also very strategic. He knew exactly what he was doing with that, to show Canadians that he can also be tough on issues that a lot of people don't really care about and or think is a threat, right? Feminism is under attack in a lot of different places. We've never really cared about women and girls, and even more now than ever, we're trying to wheel it back. So it made sense, but at the same time it didn't, because it's just kind of whenever the most vulnerable among us continues to be marginalized, it's going to affect all of us at some point, right? So I haven't really thought through a whole lot. I saw also that Jagmeet Singh is stepping down as a leader of NDP. Thank you, Jagmeet, right? Because, yeah, I really want to see NDP go further. I really want to see us go further. Not to say who I voted for, but I voted differently provincial compared to the federal. I felt like the federal, anyways, that's all I'll say. So, I also wanted to share some books that I'm reading. I want to do more readings of African writers. So CC Dagaremba, I was listening to a presentation a couple weeks ago, and one of the panelists brought up, sorry for the noise outside, brought up CC's work, and so I'm going to be reading Nervous Conditions and This Mournable Body, CC Dagaremba, and Nervous Conditions. I think it both follows the same character. Tambu? Tambudze. Tambu. And I'm really excited to get into it. It says for 2 decades after Zimbabwe won independence and ended white minority rule, 13-year-old Tambudze Zikauki embarks on her education. On her shoulders rest the economic hopes of her parents, siblings, and extended family, and within her burns a desire for independence. She yearns to be free of the constraints of her rural village and thinks she's escaped when her wealthy uncle sponsors her schooling. But she soon learns that the education she receives at his mission school comes with a price. A timeless coming-of-age tale and a powerful exploration of cultural imperialism. nervous conditions, charts Tambu's journey to personhood in a fledgling nation. And then in This Mournable Body, now, when Tambi first set out to rebuild the financial and social status she spent her youth working for, she could not have known that every move she made would bring her one step closer to sacrificing the dignity of her family and community. Her choices seem innocuous. She moves from a rundown youth hostel in downtown Harare. Harare is Zimbabwe's capital city. So Harare to a widow's boarding house, and she finds work first as a biology teacher and then in the opportunistic field of ecotourism. But when a long overdue homecoming culminates in a humiliating spectacle, Tambu is forced to consider whether it is her circumstances or her decisions that brought her to this breaking point. So these are the two books that I'll be reading over here. We dodged a torpedo. I think we dodged a torpedo, but I still think there's just the bullet's still coming, right? We're not in the clear, some of us, especially for those who are concerned about Palestinian liberation, housing crisis. Our healthcare system is in shambles. I got an alert from my bank today, which was giving very blue. It was very blue. It was just like fiscal this, fiscal that, fiscal this. So we know what's coming, right? The economy is still very much a concern for a lot of people. I'm not sure how the liberals, I'm not that I'm not sure. I already see to the women and gender that there's going to be maybe some more social service cuts coming, but I don't know, based on the projection from RBC put out, RBC acquired Francis Donald and Cynthia Leach. I don't know who they are, but they're economists. And I just read an article from them today that RBC sent out regarding Canada's path ahead, which is 6 economic challenges that are facing the new federal government. And so some of the challenges they spoke about was the first headline, the pressure of immediate needs imposed by a recessionary type slowdown. So they were saying that it could very much feel like a recession, even though it might not technically be one. So be prepared. There's going to be greater pressures on low and middle income Canadians who feel that the weight of the larger price level shock, the end of any excess savings and smaller real wage gains, joblessness, and so a lot more people are likely going to need social supports. What does that look like when at the same time we're focusing on a quote-unquote fiscal economy, right? The second point was tackling Canada's record low structural weakness, but they said, was this the one where it's like 65 years? Yeah, the potential has been declining for the last 65 years, so that's not so shocking. However, there's going to be some impacts there. The third one, they said the best treatment for what ails Canada is fiscal policy, not monetary. So again, that's given conservative language, but again, we knew this, right? So they're going to be making cuts. There's lots of cuts to come, I think. Fourth, rebalancing of focus between social and business investment measures. Affordability and other social challenges remain very real concerns, but here's a but, right? Yeah, we know the social, but we need to encourage greater wealth. So 5, they said finding ways to make social and other must-do spending more growth positive. Canada does not need to choose between growth and this type of spending, which is absolutely needed. It can just try to do better. How much better are we going to do? I don't know. Fiscal space, the sixth point, it says fiscal space is not unlimited, but it can buffer the economy in a tariff shock and take on some growth positive spending. So again, this was RBC's featured insight that was talking about 6 economic challenges that are facing Canadians going forward with the new government that's come into play. And so I don't have a whole lot to say, but all I will say is I'm glad we didn't vote blue. I'll take this. It to me didn't go far enough, but it's better than, what we're seeing down south. I do feel hopeful. I hope that Mark, when I listened to Mark's speech as well as Jagmeet's speech, and Mark spoke about Canadian principles that are important to him: humility, ambition, unity. Those are really good values. What does that look like, and how does that look like, and how will that take shape in Canada going forward? I'm not too sure. But as he said, nobody's perfect, which we know that. But how far away from perfect will we be? Like, what do you mean by that, right? Like, so that's all. Nothing long. These are the books I'm sharing. Thank you, Canada. Woo, that was nervous. The pendulum. Big up to my rosary that I used as a pendulum yesterday. I tried to stay off social media because I was so nervous and had so much anxiety. I didn't want anything influencing my day or my mood. I voted last week, so I didn't have. I just voted last week because I didn't want to have to deal with all the stress yesterday. I'm glad I voted early. Next time, I would recommend early voting. It was easy both times. No lineups. Super quick. Yeah, let's see what the future. But let's see the future of Canada. Let's see where we're going. But yeah. Anyways, okay, that's it. Bye.